If you keep falling for people who hurt, drain, or confuse you, it's not random. And it's not your fault. Your brain is running a program installed before you could tie your shoes. That program convinced you that love equals chaos, passion equals pain, and if someone isn't making you question your sanity, they don't really care. But this pattern isn't permanent. It's learnable, which means it's unlearnable. You'll understand exactly why you've been attracted to the wrong people and how to rewire your entire attraction system. You're not crazy. You're not broken. You're just repeating what feels familiar. Your attachment system formed before age 4. Before you had language for emotions, your nervous system learned what love feels like in a body. Whatever dynamic existed in your early environment became your template for normal. If love came with anxiety, your nervous system learned to associate anxiety with love. If affection was unpredictable, your body learned that uncertainty equals intimacy. If caregivers were emotionally unavailable, your system developed radar to find emotionally unavailable people. There are 4 attachment styles. Secure attachment, the gold standard. These people expect relationships to be stable and safe, but most deal with insecure attachment. Anxious attachment develops when caregivers were inconsistent. So anxiously attached people become attracted to partners who recreate that hot and cold dynamic. They mistake anxiety for passion. Avoidant attachment happens when caregivers were emotionally unavailable. These people choose partners who won't ask too much emotionally. Disorganized attachment results from chaotic early experiences. These people are attracted to intensity and drama because that's what love felt like originally. Here's the kicker. Your nervous system doesn't distinguish between familiar and safe. It just knows what feels like home. So if home was chaotic, chaos feels like love. This is why you can know intellectually someone is wrong for you and still feel that magnetic pull. Your conscious mind knows better, but your nervous system is driving. That spark you feel with someone bad for you. That's not chemistry. That's trauma recognition. Your nervous system identifies someone who'll recreate your original wound and floods your body with stress hormones you've learned to associate with romance. This is the difference between chemistry and compatibility. Chemistry is what you feel. Compatibility is what you build. Real chemistry, the kind that leads to lasting love, is actually calm. It's ease, coming home to yourself in someone's presence. But if you grew up in chaos, regulated nervous systems feel foreign. That sparks with toxic people, it's your nervous system going into hypervigilance. Your body detects threat and floods you with stress hormones. But if your system learned to associate these chemicals with love, you'll interpret anxiety as attraction. This is a trauma bond, and it's incredibly addictive. The combination of stress hormones and intermittent reinforcement creates the same neurochemical response as gambling addiction. If being with someone feels like a constant emotional emergency, that's not love. That's your attachment system trying to resolve an old wound through a new person. And it never works. Every one of you has an internal blueprint for what love looks like. This blueprint was written before you were old enough to have conscious input, directing your romantic choices since this is repetition compulsion. Your psyche's attempt to master an unresolved emotional experience. Your unconscious keeps setting up scenarios that feel like your original wound so you can finally get it right. But you can't heal an old wound through a new person. You can't get childhood needs met by an adult partner. When you're attracted to someone emotionally unavailable, you're not attracted to them. You're attracted to the possibility of finally being enough for someone who doesn't give love easily. Complete this sentence. Growing up, love felt like, don't think, just right. Whatever your answer is, that's what your nervous system is still looking for in romantic relationships. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you think you deserve. If deep down you believe you're too much, too needy, too broken to deserve healthy love, you'll unconsciously choose people who confirm that belief. If you learned early that love was conditional, then unconditional love feels dangerous. So you unconsciously choose people who require you to earn their love because that feels familiar and controllable. But trying to earn love from someone who makes you jump through hoops isn't romantic. It's self-abandonment. The people who make you work hardest for love are usually least capable of giving it. The person right for you won't make you question whether you're enough. When you're attracted to someone, your brain releases dopamine and oxytocin. But the strongest chemical response comes from intermittent reinforcement minus unpredictable rewards. When someone is hot and cold, your brain gets flooded with dopamine every time they show positive attention. This is why you can feel more addicted to someone who treats you poorly than someone who treats you well. Meanwhile, all this uncertainty floods your system with stress hormones. But if your nervous system learned to associate these chemicals with love, you'll mistake anxiety for attraction. Real attraction makes you feel more like yourself. Chemical addiction makes you feel obsessed, anxious, unlike yourself. If being with someone feels like an emotional emergency most of the time, you're not in love. You're in addiction. Red flags include inconsistent communication, emotional unavailability, boundary violations, love bombing followed by withdrawal, making you question reality, requiring you to prove worth, treating you like an option. But you miss these because they come wrapped in green flags your attachment system finds irresistible. Emotional availability actually looks like consistent communication, reliability, emotional regulation during conflict, ability to apologize, respect for boundaries. Healthy people don't sweep you off your feet. They grow on you. They create steady connection. They reflect your worth consistently. If this sounds boring, that's your attachment wound talking. Your nervous system has been conditioned to find chaos exciting and stability dull. But stability isn't boring. It's peaceful. Here's a reframe. Would you want someone you love to be treated the way you're being treated? If no, then you're not being treated well enough. Awareness isn't enough. Your attraction patterns aren't stored in your conscious mind. They're stored in your body. You can't think your way out of an attachment wound. You have to feel your way through it. This is where somatic work becomes crucial. Breath work, meditation, yoga, soeth, anything that helps you regulate your nervous system. Because until you can self-regulate, you'll keep choosing partners who dysregulate you and calling it passion. Boundaries are crucial, but not rules you set for others. The relationship you have with yourself. Real boundaries come from self-worth. They come from genuinely believing you deserve good treatment and being willing to walk away from anyone who won't provide it. Secure attraction feels calm, grounding, and energizing simultaneously. It doesn't feel like an emergency. It feels like coming home to yourself in someone's presence. Secure love doesn't require you to be perfect or earn it through performance. It sees you fully and chooses you anyway. But to attract secure love, you have to become secure yourself. This means developing emotional regulation skills, learning to communicate needs directly, building a life you love so you're not looking for a relationship to complete you. When you love yourself the way you want to be loved by a partner, you stop chasing people who can't love you that way. When you know your worth, you don't waste time convincing people to see it. Here's the final shift from choosing love by wound to choosing love by choice. From survival mode love to thriving mode love. You can choose love consciously. You can select partners based on compatibility, shared values, emotional availability, mutual respect, connection over chaos, partnership over passion projects. The right love doesn't need to be earned. It needs to be allowed. It doesn't require you to prove your worth. It sees your value and chooses you because of it. But you have to believe you deserve this before you can receive it. You have to update your nervous system's definition of love from chaos to calm, from uncertainty to security, from earning to allowing. The pattern ends with you. The cycle breaks now, not because you found the right person, but because you became the right person for yourself. When you genuinely love and value yourself, the right people start showing up. Not because you're trying to attract them, but because you're no longer available for anything less than what you deserve. The love you've been searching for isn't out there. It's inside you waiting to be felt. Once you feel it for yourself, you'll never settle for anyone who can't match that energy again. Stop chasing love. Start allowing it. The right person is looking for someone exactly like you, Midas. Not the version that minimizes herself, but the version that knows her worth and refuses anything less. When you stop choosing by wound and start choosing by worth, you don't just change who you're with, and that's where the real magic happens.